Welcome back to In the House with Beth and Ryan. I'm Beth and this is Ryan.
Today we are going to talk about what happened in February in the Guelph real estate market and what we're starting to see into mid-March and some of the trends we're starting to see in some of the price brackets out there as well. So, but first I want to talk about our spring yard waste bag promo. And I realize that perhaps these letters are backwards, but they're not actually backwards on the bags. This is just the way it looks in the video. These are a 5-pack. They are free, 100% free, and they are as good or better quality than you'll find in the home improvement store. So there are limited quantities available, and first come, first served. There will be a link for them under the YouTube video on how to get them. We'll deliver them to you if you want, or you can pick them up at our office. The market in February, in Guelph, we had about a 10% increase in sales, number of homes sold, in February versus last year. We're still tracking pretty close to last year, but I think the big news that came out of last month was interest rates.
Yeah, we had another announcement from Bank of Canada, and they continued to hold rates. I know a lot of people were hopeful and maybe even expecting a drop, but that did not happen. And at this point, the soonest that I think we could see that would be June. But I know inflation numbers are now out in the US and they're up again.
They're up again.
So there's a chance that who knows what's going to happen in June. Hopefully we'll see a drop, but we may not.
Hopefully we don't see an increase, which
right.
I've heard some people talk about, but I don't think that's on the table.
Right.
With that, it's sort of, I think, and although I don't really have any data to back it up, but I think that those announcements really do play into and have a sort of a ripple effect into the following weeks and what's going to happen. So
Absolutely,
those people who are hoping for a very strong spring, I think they're going to be disappointed. We do take a look at the numbers on a weekly basis, and we try to figure out what's happening within different price points because it gives you an idea of what people are up to. And one of the things we found that Beth noticed was the price range between 400 to 600,000 in Guelph. The listings are going up, but it appears that the sales are going down. But Beth brings up a good point.
Right. We've noticed in the last, even just like week or 2 weeks, that we're seeing more people holding offers at that price point. So what that means is they're pricing the house low, below market value, and then waiting a week and reviewing any offers and hoping for a competition. So I think what's maybe happening is that some of these houses are being priced, for example, at $599. So they're being listed in that price category, but then they're actually selling in the sixes or even approaching $700,000 and selling in a different category. It's pretty tricky in Guelph these days to find a detached house below 600,000.
Right.
But we have seen the inventory increase as listings, but not selling through at that
That's
price.
right. So they're listing. It appears that the number of listings are going up, but the sales are going down. In fact, the listings are going up, but they're just selling at a much higher price, and it actually brings it into a different price bracket. The other trend we're starting to see is of homes above $1 million. So the inventory in that segment above $1 million, you could probably break it down even further above $1 million. But in $1 million as a whole and above, the listings are continuing to increase, but the sales are not corresponding. So we've had 4 or 5 weeks in a row of climbing inventory above $1 million. And this week was one of the lower weeks for sales. So people may be a little bit more hesitant to buy in this price range right now. You have to have 20% down on $1 million home. And
for most people, it's an upgrade too. And I think a lot of people are maybe waiting to see what happens with interest rates before moving into that next step up. Home.
That's right. Yeah. And they don't want to put themselves into a bigger mortgage without knowing what's going to happen in the future. So there is some hesitation in the higher price brackets, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And so we anticipate that the remainder of March will be very similar again to 2023 and perhaps even a little bit slower. One thing to be aware of that we've started to notice is people are talking about how the average price of a house is increasing, but average price isn't really the catch-all metric to be using when you're trying to figure out how the market is doing. So just be careful. You can sell less houses in Guelph for less prices and still have the average price going up, because it all depends on the mix of houses that are selling. So just be careful. If you do have questions on how your individual house or how your neighborhood is performing or would perform on the market, just reach out to us and ask the questions, because some of the data and the insights out there can be misleading.
And also, if you are in a position where you're getting ready to sell your house, it is really important to understand your segment of the market, because it's not one constant for all homes right now. Depending on where you fall, there's going to be a really different strategy that makes sense to put into place for you to get the best result.
Yeah. So with that, I think we're going to wrap up the video. If you have any questions on the Guelph real estate market, you can always give us a call. You can subscribe. We always forget to mention that. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd like to get to 100 people, 100 subscribers. And you can always find us on our website at bethandryan.ca.
Yeah, we're starting to get babble.